Hello guys, welcome back to another video for INF-652. I hope everyone's project went really well. I can see you guys are definitely practicing a lot and learning so much and really putting in a lot of good work despite some of the technical issues some of you are experiencing. So I've been going over the discussion board and taking notes of the common questions and issues and solutions that you guys have experience so far during the labs. So I wanted to just go over a couple things people have struggled with in case anyone else is facing a similar issue for future labs. So I really hope this helps. The first issue I've noticed is that people have been having trouble entering incorrect or inconsistent primary key values early, which causes major problems later when adding constraints. So make sure that you add primary keys early and double check the IDs during inserts. Also, try to review your data before moving on to constraints. This will save you so much time so that you're not going back and having to check to see if your primary key values are correct and consistent. Next, I've seen some confusion about setting up and correctly naming primary and foreign key constraints. So make sure, in order to avoid any confusion, you want to plan this schema ahead of time on paper, where I've seen a lot of people use Excel in order to clearly define which columns will act as primary and foreign keys before writing the SQL. So it really helps to plan everything out beforehand so that you know exactly what you are going to do once you start actually doing the project. Next, I've seen a lot of issues with people mixing up commands between psql and the bash or Linux terminal, especially when trying to run pg_dump. So remember that SQL runs inside psql, but pg_dump must be run in the system shell after exiting with \q. Another issue is FreeCodeCamp not recognizing your database dump file in the repository. So first confirm the dump file is not empty. You want to verify the correct database was dumped and ensure the proper file is committed to the repository. You also might want to reload and wait some time and try again. Because sometimes these things just need a little time to take in the information and load. Then some people were losing progress due to internet disconnects or session interruptions, like if you had to get up from your desk and had to go do something else, and then when you came back, the lab wasn't saved. So if you've experienced this, just try to complete the project in one sitting when possible. But obviously, if you can't do that, you want to save your work frequently to avoid losing progress, because you really don't want to start over and have to repeat all those steps all over again. Although repetition is really good for memory, I know it can be super frustrating. So you really want to at least keep separate notes or something in a separate file so that you can refer back to it if you do lose progress, or just try to save the file to your computer before stepping away. And then there's some issues with environment and tooling problems with CodeRoad, Docker, or your local pSQL setup. So if you're experiencing this, try to switch to code spaces if the local setup becomes too time consuming and you're having issues with that platform. Also, if you're forgetting semicolons or making small syntax mistakes that cause commands to fail, I really just suggest you slow down when you're typing. And then try to reuse the correct command with the up arrow key, and carefully read error messages, because the computer really tells you exactly what you did wrong within those error messages. Lastly, if you're feeling super overwhelmed by the number of commands and the amount of on-screen instructions, break the project into smaller steps and really read all the instructions before starting, and create a separate file or separate notes for your project, so that way you can have a good idea of what you're really trying to do before you get started. So just focus on one requirement at a time and you should be all set. If you have any questions, you can always post in the discussion board or email me directly, and good luck with the future project.